Hi, my name is Randy Kronk, and I'm one of the managing partners here at the ERP Consulting Exchange, or ECX, as we like to call it. Today I'd like to present the first of 3 videos describing the resume writing service here at the ECX, why we write resumes the way we do, and why we think it is important that every member of the ECX have their resume written according to the ECX standard format, whether we write your resume for you or you write the resume yourself according to the standard. In this video, we'll walk through the ECX resume. In the second video, I'll talk about the ECX resume build process. And finally, in the third video, we'll walk through the ECX Searchable Talent Database. Each of these videos runs about 10 minutes. Okay, so here is the $160 an hour question. If I'm looking for someone with specific qualifications, how do I hire the best candidate in that tall stack of resumes on my desk? Well, let's look at some. And as I drag these resumes into view, I think you'll see an immediate problem facing any SAP employer looking for a consultant. And that problem is that all these resumes are written differently. Notice also that the same kind of information is in a different place on each resume. Skills might come first on one resume. On another resume, experience might come first. Some resumes put their education or personal information near the top. If I just take a resume off the top of the pile, where do I look for a specific skill or experience? Where do I find the number of years in that skill or experience? Where do I look for certifications? Each resume is like a puzzle that I have to solve before I can even begin to identify the key skills and experience that I'm looking for. Formats are not only different, but also very confusing. In this resume, for example, notice that the writer has put a series of bullets near the top. All we have listed here are a number of practice areas that I could have gotten off any SAP website. Nothing in particular stands out as different, and the list doesn't tell me what the consultant actually did or what he has accomplished. Why would I hire him instead of someone else with a similar list of words? This other consultant starts out his resume with a long paragraph and lots of sentences. I have to read through all that before I know anything about him. That's a lot of words, and it takes time. If I'm an employer, why should I take that time instead of looking at a resume where the skills and experience are much more obvious? The only word that jumps out on the page is the word overview. Then the resume follows with even more paragraphs below that. These paragraphs give me a history of his work life. Again, it is the same problem as before. I have to read and study these paragraphs before I know what the consultant did. And who has time for that? Another problem is that his most important work may be on the second page of the resume. Putting your most recent work first on your resume may not get you hired if that is not your best work. This consultant makes an even bigger mistake. Notice that she's put her personal information and her academic qualifications right here on her first page. And because she does that, she pushes her SAP experience to the bottom. But isn't her SAP experience and her SAP expertise what she is trying to sell? So why should she put that at the bottom of the resume? Now let's see what happens if the resume is in ECX format. Here we have the resume of Dirk Leifer. Dirk is a senior SAP consultant. He has lots of experience, lots of skills, and is someone who has worked in several countries and speaks a couple of languages. That's a lot of detailed information to absorb all at once. See how we do it here, with all Dirk's key information presented right at the top. Notice also that this resume is actually a website. When you get an ECX resume, you actually get 3 versions: a web version, a PDF version, and an MS Word version, which you can download right from the website. Notice the URL. It's in the format www.scxprofile.com/last name. That makes it very easy to tell someone where to find your resume, let's say over the phone or in a text message. Right near the top of the resume is Dirk's profile. The profile is what you would say about yourself in the first 20 seconds of a job interview. It tells the employer what you're all about. What are your strong points? Where do you belong in a project team? Then, under the profile, comes your skills and experience. This section tells the reader right away where you were strong, the specific industries, SAP modules, and technologies, plus the number of years in each area. Suppose an employer is looking for someone with 1 year of CRM experience and 2 years of security experience. They can just look here and find it. They can also type these 2 search criteria into our database and see all the consultants with those qualifications. The next section is employment history. Notice we do not squeeze every project detail under an employer. This is just a simple list of employers, dates worked, and positions held. Why not say more in this section? Well, because most SAP work is organized by project, not employer. That's why we break projects out separately. All Dirk's projects, in fact, are listed below, further down in order by date. Each project summary includes the name of the employer, so you can easily link back to the employment history. Very often consultants confuse the project's mission and the consultant's role. That's why we list these 2 items out separately. The role is the main reason you were on the project team. Were you the project manager? Did you handle data migration? Were you the one responsible for training? Of course, you may have had multiple roles, but which one was the most important? The mission, on the other hand, describes what the overall project was about. Why did the client engage the team? What were they trying to accomplish? In just these 2 short statements, role and mission, employers get a very quick and clear overview of what the project was all about and what you did on it. Further down are the project highlights. These are the most important tasks and accomplishments, the things you actually did. Each highlight gets its very own bullet. We don't crowd a lot of highlights into one bullet. This makes it very easy for employers to see what you did. Of course, some of the highlights are real standouts. They're not just project highlights, they're also career highlights and deserve a higher place on the resume. That's why we list career highlights above key projects. Employers should not have to read the whole resume or even a whole paragraph just to find the most important things you've ever done in your career. So that concludes our short tour of the ECX resume format. Remember, your resume is your face to the world. The SAP job market is very competitive, so you want your resume to be as clear, well organized, and easy to access as you are. Thanks.